All right. So yesterday, Mr. Carl started talking about Chapter 11, state government. Now, state and federal government, they have some similarities, but they also have a lot of differences. I'm going to be focusing on the state executive branch. Now, what makes up the state executive branch? Anyone have any ideas? Michael?
President of the United States.
Okay, for federal, but what about for the state?
Oh, for the state.
Is he?
Maybe like the governor?
Yep, the governor is part of that. Anyone else? Well, the governor also has his own cabinet, like the president. Okay. What did I do?
Just go back here, scroll all the way to the tab up on the right.
This one?
Up.
Okay. All right. So the executive branch. It's led by the governor and a group of executive officials. And these officials help the agencies and enforce the laws to carry out our state's programs. And the early state constitutions actually limited the governor's power. It wasn't until recently that it really expanded a governor's power. And actually in the state of Wisconsin, Governor Walker has one of the most power of all governors because of the way our state constitution has expanded. So this is just an overview of what the executive branch is, and I will be talking about each one individually. But first, I want to assess some of your prior knowledge. So we have an activity called Identify the Governor. So I'm going to be handing these out. Let's see. And you have to write either if this person is a governor, a political figure, or an ordinary citizen. And I'll give you a couple minutes. It's not graded because I made it, so. But I just want to know, some of these names you might recognize, some of these names you might not, but I want you guys to give your best shot at this, and there might be candy involved, so. I'll give you 3 minutes, so there's about 20 names there.
Is this only for Wisconsin?
This is governors across the United States. These are current governors. All right, everyone done in this row? Yeah? This one? You girls good? We all good here? All right. Are we almost good here? Awesome. So, who wants to take on number one? Can I get a raise hand? Michael?
It's a political figure, and it's Vice President of the United States.
Yes. But he's also a former governor in Indiana. So, but you got it right. Skittles or Twix?
Twix.
All right. Number 2. Tyler?
Is he a governor?
He is. But I just found out he just got out last week. He lost. So, he was the governor of New Jersey for 3 terms. So he served many years. What are you feeling? All right. Number 3. Jenna.
Is it a political figure?
Yes, she is a U.S. Senator of Wisconsin. She is a political figure. Working on my softball skills. All right, number 4. Is he? No, someone else? Mason? He is. He's a governor of Ohio, but he's also ran for the presidency in 2000 and in 2016. Okay, sounds good. Ah! Sorry. Number 5. Anyone? Take a guess. Mason?
Political figure?
No. No. I'm going to take this one. I'm taking the candy for myself. He is governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. All right, number 6. Is he? Yes. For Wisconsin, right? Sean Duffy. All right, number 7, Susana Martinez. Any ideas?
Is he governor?
Yes, of New Mexico, and she is the first female Hispanic governor
In all America.
in all of the United States. Feeling the Twix today, huh? All right, number 8, Valerie. Oh, yes. What are you feeling? Yes. They're the good ones, too. All right, Jerry Petresky, number 9. Jenna.
Political figure?
Yes, he is a member of the Wisconsin State Senate. Wow, I'll give you some Twix. All right, number 10. Is he? Yes, Yay. Good job. All right, number 11. Anyone? Mason, is that your hand first?
Political figure?
No. Jenna? Yeah, she was my social studies teacher at Athens, and she was one of my favorites. What are you feeling? Okay, sounds good. All right, Brad Schimmel. Say as if you were paying attention yesterday in class. Okay.
Political figure.
Yes, Mr. Carl actually brought his name up yesterday. And I wanted to see if you guys are paying attention. All right, Jay Inslee. Take a guess, guys. Someone over here. I haven't heard from you guys up here.
Oh, no.
All right. Connor?
Governor?
Yes, he's the governor of Washington. What are you feeling?
Skittles.
Yeah. All right, number 14. Gina Raimondo. What was that? Oh. Did I print? Oh, I switched them. Ha. She is a governor. I'm sorry, I switched the answer key. All right, I will move on. Number 15.
Which state is that?
Dave? Yes, that's my dad. Twix, Skittles. Okay, this is a far one.
What state is Kate Brown?
I forget. I forget what state she is. I could look it up for you later. Jerry Brown, who is he? Jenna? Yes, of California. And he is the oldest. He is 79 years old. He was first governor in 1975, and now he became governor again. All right, number 17.
Political figure.
No. Is he? Governor of Texas. I'm going to switch it up. Get a little. All right, number 18, John Spiros. Tyler?
Political figure.
Yes, and he's for our state of Wisconsin, right? All right, Amy Schumer. Dave? Yeah, she's cool though. What are you feeling? Woo. I'm going to give you like dentist bills. I'm so sorry. All right, number 20, our final one.
Bill Walker?
Yes, who is he?
Political figure.
Nope. Jenna? No. Is he? Yes, of Alaska. And he's the only independent of all 50 U.S. states. He's the only independent. He's not Democratic or Republican. So, all right. Thank you guys for doing that activity with me. Kind of looked at your knowledge of different governors that we have and different political figures. All right. So today's learning objectives. To be able to describe the powers of the governor, to be able to compare state executive officials to the president's cabinet, and to be able to explain the role of state executive agencies. So the roles of the governor, the first thing, he is the chief executive. He oversees the entire executive branch, and he makes sure that laws are enforced. He's the commander-in-chief of our state militia, so if there's any time that there's a disaster in our state, Scott Walker calls up our National Guard, and that National Guard is made sure that they're there to help in these situations. The governor also has the power to appoint hundreds of officials to carry out our state's day-to-day needs. And there's hundreds and hundreds of jobs available within our state. Just think of when you go for your driver's license, the Department of Transportation. That is one part and one agency within that within our state. And also, the role of the governor is writing the state's budget. Now, anytime the state budget, it has to be approved by the legislative branch. Just like in our federal government, the two branches there's checks and balances with that. So, but it does need to be approved, but he has a lot of power when that comes to know what agencies are going to get what funding, what schools are going to get what funding, and what different, like our Department of Transportation, how much money they're going to get for the roads. All right, I'm going to move on. If I can. I don't like this mouse. It's thinking. All right, the governor is also a legislative leader. They propose legislation in the form of a bill or a budget or a speech, and they influence lawmaking by talks with legislation or getting political support to push certain programs. So they may go talk to different legislators and say, hey, I really want this bill to go forward. I want you guys to vote this in. Or he could go to get public support from other people. And also the governor also has this veto power, where any bill can come through and the governor can say, no, I don't want this, veto it away. But in our state, we also have the item veto, and not every state has this. One state does not have the veto at all, and that is North Carolina, so the governor has no ability to veto the bill. But 43 states, including Wisconsin, have this item veto, where they can take out certain words, certain lines, certain numbers, and change it, and then have it go through. Now, there was this thing called the Vanna White veto that caused a lot of crazy things. You know Vanna White, guys, right? Yeah, right? Wheel of Fortune, where she takes the letters. Well, the governor used to be able to take out letters and create new words. Like, they were like, no, this should not be able to be allowed. So that was gone through the court system, and there was a lot of controversy over that. But just to remember that the governor has this ability to veto the bills and take out certain parts. There we go. All right. Also, the governor has a judicial role. Like some state governors are able to appoint judges for certain counties, and can reduce or overturn the sentences of people convicted of crimes. Now, that is allowed in 24 states, including Wisconsin. Now, before State Governor Walker was in office in 2010, Governor Jim Doyle, he issued many pardons to prisoners that were wrongly convicted, and he looked at the cases or reduced their sentences, and before him, Governor Tommy Thompson did that as well. But Scott Walker has not done that. He had 1,400 pardons that were sent to him, and he said, no, they're guilty. I'm not going to look at this. He did set up like a board to have these parolees looked at, or these convicts who applied for it, and there's no one on the board actually. So he's not doing anything about that. He doesn't want to focus on that, and that's not his. So.
Put the arrow down there.
Yeah, I'm struggling on that. Thank you. So our Wisconsin's governor, Scott Walker, like I mentioned, he faced in 2012 a recall election. And due to his budget plan to limit collective bargaining for most Wisconsin public employees like teachers, and there was tons of protests to get him recalled as our governor. I remember walking into Shopko and people asking me to sign this form to get him out of office. And it was $80 million were spent on this one single recall election. And, well, in 2010, it was only $37 million, which is crazy that the two are that opposite. But he was the first American governor to survive a recall election. And just last October, or last month in October, he said he will be seeking a third term in 2018. So what he does will affect you in the next 4 years when you're in college or what you're doing with your jobs. He will be calling the shots for our state. So.
So they had like another election whether they should take him out of office or not, and then they actually elected for him to stay in office.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there was the recall, and someone ran against him, and he still won. So, yeah. Mr. Carl, do you want to hit? Thank you. All right, qualification and terms. So most states require a governor to be either 25 or 30 years old, be a resident of the state, and an American citizen. Kind of basically what we had for the federal government as well. And terms are usually 4 years. 50% limit the number of terms they can do. So a term is 4 years, but in our state, there is no limit to the number of terms they can serve. So they could, as long as they keep winning elections, they can keep serving. Our longest one is Tommy Thompson. He served for 14 years. So that was a significant time in our history, in Wisconsin history. In 1970, they switched it to the 4 year. It used to be 2 years, and then they switched it to 4. So I thought that was pretty interesting. 2 years, you don't have a lot of time to get your initiatives down. 4 years gives them more time in office. All right, so we're going to move on to other executive officials. It takes a team. I can see my team, 4, and all them guys. But one part is a lieutenant governor. And he is right up there with the governor. When the governor's not there, he takes over his responsibilities. All right, I'm going to play this video just so you can learn a little bit more about what lieutenant governors do in the United States. Could you? I should be able to do it. If I can move it, okay. All right. How's the volume back there? Thank you.
Hello again, I'm Marty McClendon, your candidate for Lieutenant Governor here at the Capitol. The number one question that people ask is what does the Lieutenant Governor have to do? Well, constitutionally, the Lieutenant Governor is the governor when the governor is out of town or unable to serve. The Lieutenant Governor presides over the Senate in helping both sides come to a decision that's best for the whole state. The Lieutenant Governor chairs the Rules Committee, which means every piece of legislation has to come through rules. Very important. The Lieutenant Governor chairs the Economic Development and Trade. Anything to do with trade with the state or economic development is a very important position. Lieutenant Governor is also appointed to 41 different boards and commissions across the state. One of those is like the Building Council. And it's very important to put someone you can trust on those boards. The very important thing, though, is Lieutenant Governor breaks all ties. In a state that is as divided as we are on so many different issues, you want someone you can trust to pass that deciding vote. And that's why I'm humbly asking for your support and your vote this November to be your Lieutenant Governor.
So So like you said, he would be the one to break the ties. He's there to be there when the governor is not. So X out of this and go here. Another person, first with the lieutenant governor, before in our history, they were elected separately. So the governor may be a Republican, but then the lieutenant governor could be Democrat, and they were set together. Like how conflicting their roles or their what their parties are. So in 1967, it was changed that whoever would win the primary, they would run together then. But for our state, our governor cannot choose his running mate as lieutenant governor. That is one difference. They can't choose who wins that primary. So whoever wins for their party, that's who they run with. So that one's one difference I noticed. So some other people, the Secretary of State, our Attorney General, and our State Treasurer. Now those roles are also voted on by the people. The governor does not choose them. Like they are by popular vote on your ballot, and that's how they are. So the Secretary of State, they're charged of official records and documents and supervises elections. The Attorney General is our chief legal officer, and of course the State Treasurer takes care of our financial affairs. So, I mentioned, the difference between them, the selects cabinet. Well, the difference between the president and the governor is that the president is able to select his cabinet, while state executive is by vote. All right, so we're going to move on to the state executive agencies, and these carry out the day-to-day work. Some examples are Department of Health, Department of Education, Department of Revenue, Natural Resources, and there are 58 major agencies. So just think of all the people involved in each individual agency within our state. And then we're going to watch a clip about the natural resources.
What is your password?
I didn't know I needed a password.
Password reset.
Tom Durian talked with experts and hunters today. He's live in the newsroom with how you can help.
Well, Shannon Charles, if you're headed out this weekend and you're blaze orange, it's likely that you've heard of CWD. If you're lucky enough to get a deer, the Department of Natural Resources is hoping that you'll let them sample it.
We're bringing in our deer head for our samples for CWD and making sure that our deer's safe to eat for our family.
Corinne Gorski and her daughter Colleen are dropping off a deer sample at the Waukesha DNR office.
This deer comes from a part of Wisconsin that's just starting to show signs of it, so we're just having it checked just to make sure.
And this is exactly what the DNR is hoping for this year.
Last year we got about 6,000 samples, and our goal is to get 8,000 samples this year. So if we don't sample deer that hunters are coming in, we really don't know the prevalence of CWD on the landscape anywhere in the state.
Currently, the CWD landscape looks like this, with high concentrations of the disease in Dane, Iowa, Sauk, and Richland counties. Tom Muller processes about 400 deer every season, but says out of those, only a few end up having CWD. This year, however, he has decided to process any infected meat last.
You want to keep it so the hunters are worried that it's going to cross-contaminate and get in the food chain for their family, and rightfully so.
And even though it's not known to transfer to humans or have any effect, the CDC recommends not eating infected meat, and the Gorskis will play it safe.
If you find out it does have CWD, then you just...
Yeah, no, we just have to get rid of it.
So the DNR will be at many processing sites this opening weekend, hoping to collect those samples. If not, hunters can take them to the DNR offices and have them tested free of charge. They have an in-depth web page with info and all the information you might need to know. We put a link to that on our website at tmj4.com.
All right. So with opening gun season this weekend, that's kind of like a little clip of what the DNR does. And that's part of their role is to keep, our natural resources, to know what's going on in our state. So Department of Education is one of the largest departments, and they make sure the state's laws are carried out. They say how many days of school you need to be in there, what subjects you have to study, how many credits you need to take. Going through and becoming a teacher myself, I have to follow certain requirements and certain things that I need to do to make sure I am fulfilling the rules of and becoming a teacher. So Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, DPI, there's a lot of things that I have to do, like this, teaching in front of you and recording it and letting my teacher know how and what I'm doing. So, all right. So this is a question for you guys. I want you to actually turn your sheet over that I gave you earlier and to write down, do you think governors should be allowed to appoint all other state executive offices, and why or why not? So they don't choose like the Secretary of State or Treasurer, but they choose a lot of other officials. Do you think that's right, or do you think they should be voted on? Like, I just want to have you write those down for me. All right. Now I want everyone, when they're done, I want you guys to turn to some people next to you, and I want you guys to talk about your answers, if that's okay. Because I would like to have some feedback, but I want you guys to talk about it and discuss just what you guys think about this.
Ellie, can I have a brief feedback?
I just said that it should be voted. Otherwise it's biased.
Allie, what did you think? What did you put?
It should be voted because otherwise it's going to be biased and everyone's going to have the same view and there's not going to be a variety of different beliefs.
Right. That makes sense, right? Because the governor, he's Republican, he's choosing all these other Republican candidates.
And why would he want to share the power with someone that believes something
different? Right. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So can I hear back from some people on what they feel about this? Yes.
I think that it would be reasonable for the governor to be able to appoint allies because that way we don't have conflicts in the same branch at least, and if other people don't think that the executive branch is doing right things, then there's checks and balance. There's a checks and balances system by which the legislative branch can influence them, and the people can call for a recall, like they did with Scott Walker.
Right.
So, and if it's not, then different people can be chosen for every position, and they'll conflict. The views will conflict, and they can coordinate.
Okay. Now in Germany, do you know if their leader decides who is all in office, or is it voted upon, or?
I don't know how it is with. I think it's voted.
It's voted by the people.
But they usually it's like if one party is dominant in an area, usually candidates of that party are voted for a lot of positions.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, anyone else's thoughts? Jenna?
I don't think that they should be able to because otherwise there's like one party controlling the whole state, and it's like it's not the interest of the citizens; it's more the interest of the governor and provinces.
Okay, that's a good point. Anyone else? Yeah, Tyler?
I think they should be able to, because then if we're, like, say they have to work with somebody that doesn't agree with them, stuff isn't going to get done, there's going to be a conflict the whole time, so.
That's a really
it's
good
easier to
point.
work with people that get with, and then we can get things accomplished.
Right. Like some people's agenda isn't able to get done because of that, and that puts roadblocks. Yeah, it's hard not to work with people that doesn't align with your values and what you want to get done. So, all right. All right, so we're on that same sheet. I want you guys to write down 3 things you learned from my lecture today. It could be anything. It could be from knowing who a governor was, or something, what role you learned about a governor. And then one thing you wanted to learn more about that I didn't expand upon enough, that you want to be like, okay, I could use some more details about this. And then I'm going to have you write that down and then turn again to your friends to talk about it. All right, when you're done, turn and talk to your friend about some things that you learned today, or what you found interesting or anything. Did you learn anything from me?
Yeah, the item veto or whatever, they can change it or whatever.
Yeah.
And if there's not a limited number of terms.
Right. That's cool. That's good. So if you want to be governor? So, for notes and stuff? Okay, slow it down. I do have to teach this 2 more times today, so good.
That's one thing, yeah.
First nervous sorry.
I'm trying to write them down, and then you're like, all right, we were good. And I was like, oh,
No? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. If I'm going to email it to Mr. Carl, so if you have any questions left on it, like, for sure. So, thanks for the feedback, guys. First time ever teaching, so a lesson or anything, so.
I mean, yeah, but a different kind of school.
All right. What did you guys learn? Anything?
the governors can appoint the state judges, and like about the item veto, and that Wisconsin doesn't limit the number of terms that the governor has.
So those things really stood out to you that you didn't know, or okay, sounds good. How about you guys?
I put like the powers of the governor, and then like that Walker was the first to survive a recall.
Yeah, I thought that's very interesting. It was very, very
And then
controversial.
like I just like learning about like all how Wisconsin's different from all the different states.
Yeah, it's very interesting learning how states are different from each other, and they all have their own constitutions and amendments to them too. So, yeah. How about you, Mason?
Huh?
Did you take anything away from?
I didn't know the lieutenant governor was even a thing.
Yeah.
Isn't the lieutenant governor in Wisconsin?
I'm trying to think of who. I don't even think it's on there.
Rebecca Cluefish?
Oh, you were? Nice job. Awesome. All right. How about over here, guys? What did we take away from today? Oh, it went off. It's probably I was walking too fast. Okay, come this way. That thing is crazy. Follow. All right. What did you guys take away from today?
I learned more about Scott Walker doesn't pardon criminals.
I thought that was very interesting. Yeah. So, this viewpoint, and there's some interesting videos out there that about his opinion. Anything else, Kian?
I didn't know that not every state had the item veto.
Oh, yeah. And I feel bad for North Carolina's governor. They can't do anything about it. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my presentation. I really appreciate it. Is there any questions for me or any way that you could help me do better in this? Ashley said to go slower in my slides a little bit. Okay, sounds good. I do teach this 2 more times today, but not videotaping, so I don't have to worry about that. So that's kind of nice. So, so thank you so much, and I hope you got something from today. So thank you.